special guest and our friend here. We're going to be joined by Vickie Vix. She's also a writer for Project Spurs. And it's been a long time, Vickie. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing really well. Survived the winter storm and all that stuff. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here. And we're going to be talking San Antonio Spurs basketball. And what we're going to be discussing is one Luka Samanic, who has really just set Spurs Twitter on fire as of late. Uh,
Yeah.
Luka has looked really good. He's looked so good, in fact, that there's been discussions over on Spurs Twitter whether we should even bother bringing Rudy Gay back. And I'm like, well, we're going to get into that, but
Yeah.
let me ask you, what have you thought about the play of Luka Samanic as of late? I mean, he's looked really good. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's looked great. I'll admit I was a little bit on the skeptical side at the beginning.
You weren't on the Luka train?
I wasn't, not completely. I just start out anytime, the Spurs get a new prospect, hesitant because you never know what could happen. If he's going to fit in with the team, if the chemistry fits well. And I mean, in the defense of everyone who's kind of been down on him, the first few games he played weren't anything spectacular, nothing, to write home about. But I will admit that after this stint that he's had going back to the G League, he's just blown up and he's been that dependable figure that I think that team can depend on. And I really think that helped boost his confidence coming back into these last few games that he's played here with the San Antonio Spurs. And he was incredible in their last game with the Knicks. I mean, he definitely is. He's going to be something really great. So, I mean, I'm excited about him. I think he's got a lot of talent. I'll just say that he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. I agree. And the thing is with Luka is that there were a lot of people who discounted Luka early on. They said Luka was going to be a bust. I'm not going to name names. I'm not like that. I know our good friend Ty Yeager. He's got receipts. I'm sure he'll post it sooner or later. But I thought it was really funny, because you had half of Spurs Twitter divided. You had one half that was Team Luka. The other half was absolutely like, we think that he's going to be a bust already. And I'm like, it's too early to say that. The kid is just starting to really, learn the system, and now we're starting to see the fruits of the labor. Everybody again in the beginning of the season discounted him. Hey, Luka looks like he's a bust. Look, I'm all for Team Luka. I understand, the hype around Luka. He looks great on the defensive end. There's still a lot of things that he needs to learn, add different aspects to his game, and being in the G League certainly helped that. Is he ready right now to come out and just take over one Rudy Gay's minutes? I don't think he is yet. I think there's still, some time for him to grow before we can get to that. But he really is showing that what he was doing from the beginning of the season to now, it's night and day. You can see that there really is a growth there. His confidence is building. He's looking like a really good, you know, piece that's going to develop. Let's put it like
Right.
that. So I've been Team Luca. I've been telling everybody to stop, bad mouthing the kid and give him a shot. Be patient, and that's everybody's kind of eating crow right now. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's
I
what we've been
agree.
saying all along. Be patient with Luca. Luca's looking good, and his stroke. I gotta say, his stroke, his release, especially from beyond the arc, it's looking
Yeah.
really good. This kid looks like he's going to be a special type of shooter. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. He's got a really nice form. And also his build is really unique because he almost looks like a small forward and he plays agile like a small forward, but he, is comfortable in the power forward position and is able to use his height and his, his height, his length to be able to, perform well on the boards. So I do think he's a really unique player. I agree with you 100% though that, it's too soon to take away Rudy Gay's minutes and give them all to Luka. I love his progress so far, but he's got to earn his stripes and go through the same process that all of the other young guys have gone through. And I think he's off to a good start.
Look, we have a viewer watching us right now on Periscope, James
Oh,
Field, and he's. I'm gonna go ahead and display his comment. He
yeah.
puts pump the brakes on Luka. It's 2 games.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited for Luka. You got to
Yeah,
be excited for the kid, and that's the thing that I'm saying.
exactly.
I'm excited for him. Let's see what else he can do. The ceiling's high for him. That's what we're saying. Ceiling is high for
Mhm.
Luka. I'm excited for Luka. So one of the things we're also going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about Rudy Gay because the thing was Spurs Twitter again going off after the Spurs and Knicks game, and they were saying maybe we shouldn't even bother bringing back Rudy Gay. Let's trade Rudy Gay. He doesn't have any value. Let's just give his minutes to Luka. I'm like, guys, Rudy Gay, let's be honest, Rudy Gay and Patty Mills were the heart and the soul of that second unit. Well, a lot of things that Rudy Gay does well is he's a great defender, especially in crunch time. Coach Pop relies on him. He can match up well against some of the other bigs on the opposing team. I've even seen him hold his own against one LeBron James. So I'm like, there's still value there in Rudy Gay. I don't understand why people are so enamored with let's trade somebody to get somebody else. I'm like, I'm
Right.
excited about Luka. Don't get me wrong, but I think Rudy Gay still has value on this team. Especially being with that second unit. Him and Patty together have been really great for our bench. We have one of the better benches in the NBA. I mean, what do you have to say about Rudy Gay? Are you on the side of Spurs Twitter where you want to trade him and get rid of him?
No, no, I love Rudy Gay. I think that he not only adds a lot to the second unit, adds a lot to the performance on the court, but I think that, like you mentioned, he's one of those members, those team members that has heart and soul, and also he's got the years. Like when you think about it, the Spurs are really young this year. I think Rudy Gay is probably the second oldest player on the roster or somewhere up there. And he's not that old when you really get into it. I think he's 34, something like that. He's got some time, and they need that experience to help the young guys grow. They need role models. And also, I'm not on the team of trading Rudy so much because we have an action packed team in the Spurs the way they are right now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of potential and a lot of talent. And if you're going to trade for somebody else, that's going to take away someone else's minutes who is already here and already growing. I just think we can utilize Rudy still a lot more. So yeah, I'm not really on that train. I don't know. I don't know why people are hating on him so much. I think he's still got a lot to
So
offer.
does that mean you're gonna go get a Rudy J Fiesta jersey? Vicky's like, no.
Who knows? Yeah, probably not.
Okay, let's go ahead and see some of the comments. Jimmy C. Fields, he's joining us on Twitter, and he's saying he's excited, about Luca, but he says, but temper expectations and let him grow. Yeah, let's let him grow. Let's see what he can do. He's looking great right now. He's off to a great start. So I'm not saying, like, oh, he's never gonna get any better. He is. He just still needs a little bit of growth, but he looks great. I love Luca. I'm all for Luca. I'm on the Luca train. I've been on the Luca train since the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay,
me
so
too.
let's see what else we have here. Hold on one second. I'm looking at some of the comments. I'm trying to get to you guys as fast as I can. And we got somebody else, Gold Blooded, watching us on YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh,
display his comment. He's saying, "I love Rudy Gay, but I think it's a gamble because of his injury." Okay, fair,
true.
fair, fair, fair. Let's see. We have another. Okay, Gold Blooded again. He says he can be explosive, but not as explosive as he used to be. He did master that mid-range jump shot though. Rudy Gay still has some value, like he can still put some points up on the board. He can play decent enough defense, like I stated in crunch time, and he's a savvy veteran. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Same thing can be said of Patty Mills. That's why we have vets in that second unit to kind of hold things down for us, keep the lead, or if we're behind, try to get us back in the game. We're seeing that some of these younger players that we have are doing good when they're coming off the bench, in place of some of our veterans that are missing right now. Let's see
Right.
what somebody else says. Kevin Torres says hello. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Thanks for watching. He's watching from Facebook. So let's go ahead and move forward a little bit, and let's go ahead and recap, the game that was yesterday, that got everybody all hyped up about this Luka talk and Rudy Gay. Let's trade Rudy Gay nonsense. It was
Yeah.
the Spurs looked really good against the New York Knicks. The Spurs beat the Knicks by a final score of 119-93. The Knicks are one of the better teams in the East, and we took the best team that is coming out of the East into OT, which we had no business competing against the Nets. The Spurs are holding their own right now in the absence of what is it? I think we're missing a total of 5 players and 2 starters. That's basically the 5 players in that mix are 2 starters in, Derek White, and we were also missing Keldon Johnson, which he returned to action against the Knicks in limited minutes. They're still bringing him back slowly, but it was nice to see him out there. I'm looking forward to seeing Rudy Gay return, even though he's not a starter, and I'm looking forward to seeing the return of Derek White. So there's still some pieces that we need out here on the court. But what did you think about the game against the Knicks? Were you impressed?
Yeah, definitely. I think that with each game that passes, I get a little bit more confident in their play, which sounds weird, but like I feel a little more confident that they can handle themselves. They can, hold their own against some of these great teams. It was really what's been impressive to me last night, and then also throughout this season, has been that the third quarter issues that have always seemed to plague the Spurs are not really that present this season. It was awesome that they were able to outscore the Knicks something like 36-21 in the third quarter. And I mean, that is, to me, that shows a lot of grit and resilience on their end. I love seeing the young players, especially having that drive, and they don't seem to get discouraged or knocked down when something doesn't go their way. So that really showed yesterday. And of course, we've already talked about Luka. His contributions were amazing. But like you mentioned, Joe, like the fact that they're down, 4 or 5 guys, and 2 of those are starters that are going to be contributing a lot once they come back. It's very reassuring for Spurs fans. And it's kind of surprising, I guess. I thought they could do well when I saw the roster at the beginning of the year and, seeing them in the bubble at the end of last season. But I think that they're definitely surpassing a lot of people's expectations, but they're still not getting the credit on a national scale.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of like, it's a little bit of a frustrating thing that they're not getting that recognition, but they're doing great, and I definitely see them sticking around around this spot, throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully, they can move up a couple of slots. They're not that far behind, of course. They had those games that were postponed, so they're a little bit back, but they're up there, and I think they're doing really well. Last night's game was just one example.
Yeah. And we have a comment here from our good friend Jimmy C. Fields. He puts this team can contend this year. He puts with how deep we are and the second half of schedule, we will need all guys. So I
That's
don't
true.
know. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that we can contend. I agree that we're becoming a deeper team, with this younger core coming into their own. And when we have the return of both Rudy Gay and Derek White coming into the mix and the team being back to 100, and we're still going to be without LaMarcus because news just broke that he's not going to be available for the next game because of a stomach ailment. I don't know if I'm buying that. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he got upset because he came off the bench, throwing a little fit behind the scenes. Who knows? But we'll go with that. All right. Y'all want to say he's got a stomach ailment? We'll run with that story. But I think this team is showing that they're going to grow. That they're going to be trouble for other teams. This is going to be a matchup that teams aren't going to want to see, especially with
Yeah.
this younger core that we do have. They can spell trouble, And one of the teams that is in front of us right now is the Los Angeles Clippers. We're just I think what, a game and a half, something like that, behind the Clippers in the West. The irony in this would be if things stand pat, and the Spurs are at 5, The Clippers are at 4. That could be a matchup that we see in the first round. How ironic would it be that we go up against the dreaded fake number 2 and Kawhi Leonard?
That would be great. I do think the Spurs could handle that.
Yeah, I
You know,
think so. I think that would be very interesting because we all know Paul George all but disappears in the big games in the playoffs, so maybe it works to our favor.
yeah, that would be really interesting. Yeah, that's true.
So, looking at just the game that occurred yesterday against the Knicks again, I think the Spurs did a really decent job of playing really good defense, clamping down, getting
Mhm.
back in transition, and just playing smart basketball. You couldn't say that a lot, especially in this last game against the Nets. I think they were just gassed down the stretch in OT. You could tell that they were just tired. They did. I mean, I was really proud of them. They had a valiant effort. They just kind of ran out of gas because they didn't have enough bodies. If they were
Right,
at full strength, I think the Spurs could have won that game handedly. In regular time, and just the first 4 quarters, they could have won that game because of the effort that would have been put out. It wouldn't have gone into overtime. It would have been a little closer. Maybe they win by 5 or 4 points, but I still
mhm,
think they could have won. This game here, though, against the Knicks, I'm sorry, just showed me that this team is very capable of
yeah,
being able to win games regardless of the opponent that's in front of them. So this
right.
team is showing me something, Vicky. They're growing. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm really
it's
excited.
great. And just a quick thing before we move on to the next one, I guess. Um, I really think it's important to note that the Spurs have lost to the teams that are outside of playoff contention so far. They've, I think, lost to everyone on the West that is not a playoff contender at this point. And that just, I mean, it goes to show that, a lot of those games were close losses. They could be up there in the top 2 or 3 had they won, OKC game with that terrible mistake. A couple of others where they had really bad mistakes toward the end. So I really think, yeah, like you said, they're on a different level this year. And it's really interesting to watch.
Yeah, we got another person watching us over here from Periscope. Gregory Castillo. I'm going to go ahead and show your comment here. And what he says is any concern with the ball movement on the second unit with LA, Rudy, Patty all searching for their shots. And, he has a point though, because that's one of the things that I think has been the Achilles heel for this team is at times the offense gets stagnant. And when it gets stagnant, it's because the ball sticks. When you're
Mm-hmm.
not moving the ball, and you're not going around the horn, so to speak, to try to get in better position to score, and you're trying to force the issue, that's when they start getting into problems. They start relinquishing leads. They can't find their shot. They just forcing things. They're forcing the issue, and that's a concern at times. I think they've been doing a better job of that as of late, but you can still see from time to time that it kind of rears its ugly head. What do you have
Yeah.
to say in regards to his comment there?
I don't think it's so much of a concern, just something that they need to grow on. But I do think it is there, like you said, Joe. It's obvious. It comes up every once in a while. But this team is still, for the most part, growing together, learning each other. We're, seeing different combinations of players playing together more often. So I think it's something that they can grow with. And then, of course, when you think about it, those 3 players that he mentioned, they're some of our vets, and that's kind of them getting back into their old ways, falling back into their old way of playing basketball. So it's something that they can learn, they can grow with. But I think that for the most part, it's great to see that the young core isn't doing that. They're really moving the ball well, and that's the future of the Spurs. So that's reassuring.
Yeah, not only that, but they can shoot a three. We have people like Luka who can shoot a three.
Right.
Keldon can get out and shoot a three. Devin Vasil, a really good mid-range shooter, and also he can shoot a three when needed as well. So, and the best thing that I like about all these young players that I just mentioned, in Luka, Keldon, and Devin Vasil, is that they all play defense, which is
Yeah,
even better for us moving forward. Let me go
it's
ahead
a
and
rare.
yeah, let me display a comment here from our good friend Wesley Perkins. He says, "What's up, y'all?" He goes, "Luca looks strong. LMA can sit on the damn bench." Oh my god! I already knew that he was going to say that. He's not team LaMarcus Aldridge. So that's
Hmm.
Wesley for you. Well, let's go ahead and talk about some news that broke before we started coming on and talking about San Antonio Spurs basketball. That was Keldon Johnson being named to the NBA Rising Stars roster. While the game isn't going to be played, this year in the NBA All Star festivities, the All Star weekend, just him being named to the roster says a lot. It says that he's on the radar, and the NBA is watching what he's doing, and they're impressed with his growth. What did you think?
I'm thrilled for him. That's a great recognition. And something finally, like some sort of recognition for the Spurs. I was really happy, and it's well deserved. He's great. He's better than some of those others, I would say. But I'm biased. I love Keldon Johnson, but I'm super happy. I was thrilled for him, and I think that it's going to be the first of many for the Spurs because I think they've got a lot of other talented young guys that are going to be included in that going forward.
Yeah, I think this is a good step for Keldon. It says a lot about his growth. It says a lot about his work ethic and what he's been able to do. And this is early on in his career. So again, the ceiling is high for not only
Yeah.
Keldon but also for Luka. I'm excited. I know that we have a game coming up here shortly. I think it's tomorrow night, I believe.
Mhm.
And at that point, let's see what the schedule looks like. I believe we're playing OKC again. That's what I was thinking. Oklahoma City. They play the Thunder again at 8 o'clock. And then we have a big hiatus. It's like spring break weekend's going to start. So
Yeah.
we don't have Spurs basketball until Wednesday, March the 10th,
Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
long.
So it's like we're going to have a little lull there with no Spurs basketball. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but I'm going to be spending some time with the family. So that'll be
Good,
fun. Yeah.
good.
What do you think? You think the Spurs are going to be able to best Oklahoma City?
I my gut tells me yes because I really feel they had the other game, the last one they played against them in the bag. Just a silly mistake at the end really cost them that game. So I hope that they learn from that, and they've got a couple extra players now that they didn't during the last game. So I want to say yes. I do think that they obviously are the better team. I will say the Spurs. So I want them to get a win going into that break because it'll just give them a little bit of momentum going into that resting period, and then they've got to be ready to go and just come out strong for the second half because it's going to be so packed.
Yeah, we also have Stephen Michael Anderson joining us. I want to
Yay!
display his comment. He says, "Hey Vicky, good to see a fellow UIW alum on the show."
Yes, good to see you or hear you.
Yeah. We need to get Steven back on the show. Steven's being
Yay!
shy. He don't like us no more. I just make fun of him. I know he's busy. He's covering all sorts of stuff right now.
Yes,
And he's
yes.
he's he's going to be covering The Circle again. I'm excited about that. I'm hooked on The Circle. Me and the wife like watching The Circle. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on Netflix. It's a reality show.
Oh, what is that? It's
Vicky,
like a
go
reality
and
show?
yes, go and look it up. It's really good. You got to check it out. You're gonna get hooked. You're gonna get stuck watching it. You're gonna get stuck in the rabbit hole for like
Oh
you're gonna just
gosh.
binge on it. You're gonna be like, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
You got
I
to
need
watch it. You got to watch it. That's an assignment for you. Maybe when you have
that.
time.
Now when the Spurs are on break, I'll go through
When
that.
they're on break, yes, you'll watch it with your husband. I'm telling you.
Yes, I got to do that.
Yeah, but and we're gonna go ahead and start shutting it down here because this is gonna be a short episode of the Two Shots podcast. But before we do, I got to ask you one thing. Which San Antonio Spur player, as far as this young core that we have, which one of these players has impressed you the most this season?
Oh, DeJounte Murray. I've been very impressed with DeJounte. I've always had high hopes for him, since the beginning. But I think with the whole injury and all that, it's just been sort of like, will he come back? Will he be as great as I thought he could be from the start? And then, we saw it in the bubble that he he was strong. He was a great leader. But I really, this season, he's proven that he can be that point guard that is dependable, that is, drawing up plays. I mean, he just has that maturity already. I guess, he's 25, 24, something like that. He should have it, but it's impressive because of the fact that maybe this is like his third full season he's going to be able to be playing. So I'm really impressed with him. I'm excited to see where he goes because he's still young. And I really we've gotten to see it like 3 or 4 times, but Derek White and DeJounte Murray playing together. I just love their energy, their combination. They're both so talented and are both great point guards, but having them on the floor together just adds this whole other level of intensity that other teams can't match. So yeah, I'm excited for both of them, but especially DeJounte. He's really impressed me.
Yeah, same here. DeJounte has really impressed me. This is something that I've been waiting for quite some time out of DeJounte. He had a season where he was injured, then he came back and he was still not really sure about putting all that pressure on his knee that was just surgically repaired. Then when he, started coming into his own, we hit COVID, and everything came to a stop. Weird situation all around for everybody having to adjust. Then you go back to the bubble play and he's starting to look good again. And then the Spurs don't make the playoffs. They go on vacation. Then they come back again. He doesn't look that great in preseason play. But you know what? As soon as that first game of the regular season started, I was like, DeJounte's starting to show me something. And sure enough, you're seeing the growth. You're seeing that confidence. And you just like the way he plays on both ends of the court. Not only is he a great defender, but he's also got that good mid-range game going. He's got that little floater, being aggressive, making better decisions with the ball. His court vision has improved so much. Before, I would say I would go with Derek White being the better of the two as far as a point guard. But now DeJounte's come in, into his own, and he just looks so good out there. And that gap has closed. I think it's amazing to have both of them on the court at the same time. That's really our strength, I think, is these guards. We have great guards right now, and I want to see them. I want to see them back to 100.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I got to ask you a question though, Vickie. I saw that you had a San Antonio Spurs Fiesta jersey. What player? What did you order? What player?
I actually have 2 now. I have a Keldon Johnson and Derek White. I didn't get DeJounte, or I haven't yet, I guess, but I really think I'll probably end up getting a DeJounte Murray jersey too. But right now, yes, I have Derek White and Keldon Johnson.
No love to DeJounte.
Well, I ordered these like way back, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a DeJounte eventually. And then, with the way they've been distributing them, it's taken months. So I'm like, maybe I'll give it a while, see if they do something even cooler next year, and I'll get that. I'll get DeJounte.
There you go. I got to go to the Spurs shop, in fact, so I'll go and look and see what they have over there. I'll be like, look, Vickie, I found a DeJounte for you.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's going to be what, size XS, extra small, or a youth jersey? You could fit into the youth ones, I think.
Yeah, I got the kids.
There you go. I knew it. You don't even get the adult size. Give me the youth. That's hilarious. But if you all want to go ahead and follow Vickie as we bring the show to a close, you can follow her at the Vickie Vix. And you've seen it here on screen the whole time. So she's a great follow on Twitter. And her Twitter handle is the Vickie, Vickie, Vix, Vix. I'm thinking Vicks, like the Vicks we rub on.
Yeah. Vicks.
So make sure you go and follow Vickie. She's great. She was a sideline reporter. She's a writer right now for Project Spurs. And you're also doing something for another outlet too. What's the other outlet?
It's Playmakers Latin America, but I haven't actually done anything with them since COVID. I think they're kind of having to adjust their stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But make sure you go and check her out.
Yes, definitely. Follow everyone, Project Spurs. Everybody has some really cool insight. So definitely follow
Yeah.
everyone on Project Spurs.
And one thing that Vickie is being shy about, she's not telling you guys about the amazing video that I just witnessed on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you have Vickie on Facebook, you need to go check out that video. We get to see a young Vickie. It's hilarious. I know she's embarrassed, but it was funny. It made me laugh.
This is old.
But it's funny nonetheless. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you go and follow Vickie. So you can follow me too at Two Shots Podcast. And it's all spelled out TWO, not two, but TWO, Two Shots Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So for Vickie, I'm Joe Garcia. Thank you guys for watching and listening to another episode of the Two Shots Podcast. And like we always say, spread the love, stop the hate, and be kind. We're out. Peace.